Jamie Shearer, Tina Paz.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you would both raise your right hands for me, please. Swear the testimony in this case to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm the one who issued the temporary protection order in this case based on allegations that Ms. Paz drove her vehicle towards Ms. Shearer and some other people and then made them jump out of the way and circled around them. And I believe I read that there is an active investigation. I believe I don't know if Sheriff's Office or Olympia Police was called, Ms. Shearer, which one?
What was your question?
What law enforcement agency responded?
Lacey. I spoke to Sergeant.
And is there an ongoing investigation? Has it been
Oh yeah,
closed?
they were going to send it to the prosecutor's office because I already have a protection order against her daughter for an assault.
Right.
And they were going to let the prosecutor decide what to do in this matter.
Okay. Do you know if that's happened?
I know that they sent it to the prosecutor. I've not spoke with the prosecutor yet. They said that they were sending it to the prosecutor, and if the prosecutor found it a violation of the protection order, they would have a warrant out for Alana's arrest.
One thing you'll notice throughout these hearings is just how fixated Jamie is on Alana. It gets to the point where she's pushing the prosecutor to press charges against Alana based on claims that her mom nearly hit her with a car, claims that aren't supported by evidence. This kind of obsession really shapes the tone of the hearings and influences how the case unfolds.
All right, but right now we're talking not about Ms. Woodward, we're talking about Ms. Paz.
No, I know. I'm just telling you that's all I know about that.
Okay.
May I speak, Your Honor?
The investigation, the police investigation involved Ms. Paz or Ms. Woodward or both?
The police investigation that showed up on the scene said that he understood I could not see them in the middle of the road because of the darkness. It wasn't until I saw them with my headlights that I was able to see them.
Okay, yeah, that's not my question. My question, Ms. Shearer, is your understanding as to the referral to the prosecutor's office was concerning Ms. Paz or concerning Ms. Woodward?
I think both. Okay. I'm not really sure.
Okay. All right. Well, since I'm going to take these one at a time for Ms. Paz, since you're before me now, and Ms. Woodward, if you come when I ask you to participate, there is the possibility that the matter may be at the Lacey prosecutor's office for consideration. And I will indicate to each of you that you have been, for Ms. Paz, now I've placed you under oath. Anything you say could be used against you in a criminal prosecution. And if you were to have an attorney with you right now, since there is the possibility of a criminal prosecution, I don't see a charge yet having been filed. But if there is the possibility of a criminal prosecution, I'm quite confident that an attorney would tell you, do not say anything.
Okay.
Because you run the risk of hurting your interests if a criminal charge is ultimately filed. So for right now, since it's Ms. Paz that's before me, Ms. Paz, you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you have any question about that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not telling you can't say something. I'm letting you know that given what I've been told, there is the possibility at least of a criminal charge, and you would run great risk if you say anything at all.
Okay, my intent, all I know is my intent was not to run anybody over. I pulled in, I thought I saw my daughter by the mailbox. I went to go to loop around, and as I was looping, I noticed there were people in the middle of the road. It was pitch black. Was not my intention. I didn't even know Jamie was in the road until I parked my car and heard her. So my intention was not to hurt anybody.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Briefly, Ms. Shearer.
Okay, the speed limit is 5 miles per hour and it's posted all through the complex. She should not have even been driving 20 or 30 miles an hour towards anybody. to begin
Okay.
with.
She's not just difficult to deal with, but she also takes it upon herself to act as the self-appointed parking lot speed monitor. With behavior like that, it's no surprise that she's not exactly popular with anyone in the apartment complex. Her actions create tension and frustration for everyone around her.
And did Ms. Paz say anything to you upon exiting the car?
Yep. I said, that's Alana's mom. She goes, yep, sure is. Just
I
like
don't
that.
Uh-huh.
That happened, I swear.
I don't recall that.
Of course you don't.
Wait. Okay. I don't want you speaking to one another. You're only speaking to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Shearer, tell me what's been the why do you and Ms. Woodward have this beef going on? What's the underlying story there?
We were friends, and then one day she started sending me awful messages on Facebook Messenger. And because I didn't give her the response that she was wanting, she showed up at my front door with my children present in my home. She busted through my front door when I opened it because she said she just wanted to have a conversation. And then she proceeded to assault me on my living room floor, beat the crap out of me, giving me a moderate concussion, a bloody nose, bruises all over my body in front of my 1-year-old son and my 14-year-old son, who was begging Alana to get off of me, and the neighbor had to come and pull her off of me. I did not even touch her.
That is not true, Your Honor. There are multiple.
Okay. Yeah,
That is
I
true.
haven't asked you anything yet, Ms. Woodward.
Yeah.
That is true.
And is that what the police report was filed on? Was it that, or was it the driving incident?
The driving incident.
Okay, now let me ask, this is to Ms. Shearer.
Oh,
There were police reports for both incidents, and Alana was charged for the assault that she did on me. And yes, it happened. And since then, other neighbors are threatening to assault me because of Alana. I don't even feel safe in my home now. They're trying to force me out of my apartments.
Okay. All right. So you currently have a protection order against Ms. Woodward, and that
Mhm.
order expires next July.
Mhm.
Okay.
may I say something, Your Honor?
Ms. Paz, yes, go ahead.
The reason for me being there was my 4-year-old grandson was being bullied by me, sent home crying while she was screaming at the other kids in the complex.
So
So I
her
went to
4-year-old grandson was
Okay.
not present.
Please be quiet. You already had your turn to speak, and she listened patiently without interrupting. Now it's your turn to return the courtesy and stay silent, giving everyone a chance to be heard.
Ms. Shearer, do not say a word unless I ask you a question, please. You sit and listen. That's all you do.
The reason for me to go there was to assist my daughter in calling the sheriff's department in order to figure out what we could do for her screaming at all the kids in the neighborhood for the last 2 weeks. Because once this thing happened with her and my daughter, everything was fine. The kids played fine. We all played at the park together. Nobody said a word to anybody for at least 2 months, a month. And then within the last 2 weeks before this incident, my grandson had came home about 4 or 5 times crying that she was yelling at everybody not to play with him. He's 4 years old. He doesn't understand. We just didn't know what else we could do when somebody is screaming at a
Okay.
4-year-old.
All right. Thank you.
May I say something?
No, not yet. I'll let you know.
Okay.
And Ms. Paz, do you live in the same unit, or you were just there visiting your daughter?
I was just going there because my daughter was going to call the police. I live at a different residence.
Okay.
I only go there to assist my daughter. I barely even see Jamie.
Ms. Paz, I have continued the temporary order that I previously entered in this case. You're to have no contact with Ms. Shearer or her children and not harm them in any way, and you are ordered to stay 10 feet away from Ms. Shearer and her children, and 10 feet from their residence, 10 feet from the vehicle owned by Ms. Shearer, and 10 feet away from her children.
Understand, Your Honor.
This order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. Ms. Shearer, if you need to have it renewed, you'll have to petition the court at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Paz.
Am I free to?
You're free to go. I've signed the order. It doesn't need to be reserved since you both were present. And if you wish to get a copy of the order, you're welcome to contact district court to receive a copy.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, she received an extension on a protection order she already had. And from the way Miss Paz is reacting, it doesn't seem to bother her at all. But now it's time for our entitled party to face some consequences. The person who was previously restricted by her protection order is now seeking a protection order against her, turning the situation around and giving her a first-hand look at how it feels to be on the other side.
And Ms. Woodward and Ms. Shearer. And Ms. Woodward, looks like we did not issue a temporary order at the time of your last hearing. Tell me briefly why you think you need a protection order.
Been so many situations. This protection order is more for my children than it is for me. Of Jamie bullying my son, yelling at my son, like my mom said. He come home crying on occasions. I'm normally outside with him. I just stay on the back porch or on the front porch because anytime I'm anywhere else located in the apartment, this is seems to be very triggering for Miss Shearer. She's tried to call the police for multiple occasions. The police have told themselves that I should get a protection order against her. My attorney has told me to get a protection order against her because the things that she's been doing should not be okay. They should not be allowed. My son, like my mom said, is only 4 years old, and I've tried to explain to him multiple times about, why this is happening and everything, but an adult should not be able to bully a 4-year-old the way that she does. She also yells at the neighbors' children. All of the parents are too scared to say something to her. One of them has tried to say something to her the other day, and Jamie was screaming at her in the parking lot, as well as her son, for just simply saying kid. He's not allowed to just, live freely in our apartment complex because of her. And I just don't know what else to do other than to get a protection order for him so she can, or I don't know what party is, but bullying other children in the neighborhood who are not even her own, if they play with my son or, are kind to my son, they're not allowed to play with her children, and her children have to come inside. She's like causing this big thing in our apartment complex, and it's just getting ridiculous. And these are all children, and she's a grown up doing this.
All right, thank you. Ms. Shearer.
Hi.
Anything you want to say about the allegation that you've been speaking
Absolutely.
to?
Absolutely. I would
Child.
never yell. I would never yell at a 4-year-old. That is crazy.
All right, the judge has issued a protection order against Jamie, essentially mirroring the one in place for Alana. Normally, this would be the moment to accept the decision, say thank you, and leave the meeting. But if you're someone who's never been told no and feels the need to have the last word, then things don't end there. You might react in a way that prolongs the conflict instead of closing it.
Also, who is she to say how I act around kids when she beat me up in front of my children? So,
Okay,
first of all, I want to tell you,
Ms. Shearer, stop.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, my question is, do you have contact with Ms. Woodward's children? I'm not worried about Ms. Woodward. I'm just asking her children.
No, in fact, my nephew plays with her child and that's fine. But tell me why my 15-year-old and 10-year-old would want to play with her kid. There is absolutely no way they even want to play with her 4-year-old. She's like trying to force it to happen. And the other neighbor kids don't play with her kid over my kids because they've been friends with my kids for the 8 years we've lived here. We've lived here longer than she has. So I don't tell the other kids not to play with her kid. I tell them not to play with my kids at the same time as her kid. And as a mother, that is within my right to not have her children or anyone associated with her around my children after the assault. I don't want anybody in her family or in her circle to associate with my family. In fact, I have a protection order against Alana, which involves my kids, so she shouldn't be nowhere near my kids. And Alana came
Okay.
into my parking lot near my home the other day. She doesn't stay away from my home.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And when her kid says hi, I say hi. I'm nice to him.
No, you're not. He doesn't say hi.
Stop.
You're not supposed to
You're
talk
not
to me. We have a
talk-
protection order. I just want them to leave
All
me
right.
alone.
So, Ms. Shearer, I have ordered that you have no contact with Ms. Woodward or her children.
That's fine. I haven't contacted her
Okay,
since she
okay.
assaulted me.
Just listen to me, please. You're to have no contact with Ms. Woodward or her children. Those are the only restrictions on this order. This order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. Ms. Woodward, if you need it renewed, you have to come back to court and ask for that. You both are present here. Ms. Shearer, you've heard what the restrictions are, that you have no contact with Ms. Woodward or her children.
I already
And
don't, so that's fine
A
with me.
copy of the order that I've signed will be available to each of you if you wish to get a copy of it through district court, but it does not need to be served since you're both present. All right, thank you both.
Now, that was a completely unnecessary question. Of course, you can keep your children away from hers. Even if they want to play together, you have the right to make decisions based on what's best for your family. Unfortunately, personal disputes shouldn't negatively impact your child's life. Speaking of neighbors, Alana isn't the only one Jamie is targeting with a protection order. In the next hearing, she's seeking yet another protection order against a different neighbor, showing a pattern of escalating conflicts within the community.
Your Honor, may I ask a question, please?
What's the question?
Why is she getting a protection order when she assaulted me? That's insane.
No, because of the allegation that you've had contact with her children over her.
I haven't.
Okay, well, she said you did. So I hear you. Okay, I'm not arguing. Miss Sure, you'd have this tendency to argue all the time. I've listened to the two of you. I've made my decision. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
May I please keep my kids from her children?
Well, maybe it's time to take a step back and control yourself. In problem solving, if you want to identify the root cause, you consider all the variables and look for the common factor. In this situation, when looking at all the conflicts and issues, the common denominator seems to be you. Recognizing that is the first step toward resolving the ongoing problems.
Amy Shearer, Nicole Heron. Sure, good morning again. All right, we do have proof of service on Ms. Heron on the 30th of September.
Mm-hmm. Your Honor, may I say something?
Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
Ms. Shearer, what do you have to say?
So all of these cases that I keep having to get protections order on are neighbors that all relate back to Alana Woodward, because now another neighbor spent an entire night harassing me after Alana was by my house, and I called the police because I had a protection order against Alana that says she can't be by my home or on my property. And so the neighbor that's friends with her spent the entire night texting me, messaging me on Facebook, and just harassing me all night. This issue with Alana is just ongoing, And I didn't go get an order against that neighbor, but I mean, how many orders do I have to get against neighbors? Because Alana is like, it's just an ongoing issue. It's getting out of control.
All right, she successfully obtained another protection order against a different neighbor, someone who, by her own account, actually helped stop the altercation she had with Alana. Some situations are beyond fixing, and unfortunately, you can't change people who keep making poor choices. And it doesn't end there. Up next, we have another individual about to face the consequences of his actions when the judge reads his decades-long criminal history during sentencing. It's going to be a rough moment, and it shows just how serious the court takes repeated offenses.
I can't answer that for you. We can only do one person at a time, so we'll do one for Ms. Heron. It's not here today.
That neighbor has not harassed me again, but if she does, can I come back and get an order against her?
You can petition for it. I can't,
Okay.
Without reviewing the petition, I can't say
Yeah,
one way or
but
the other.
you're saying I can come back and request it. Okay.
Yep.
But as far as this case goes, yeah. Like I said, I'm about to be her neighbor on November 1st, and I would just like that she. What?
Said I saw that in there.
Yeah, so I would just really like it if I could just get this order granted and she could just not be on my property, not have any communication with me and my family, not harm us or anything, so that we can just go about our lives as neighbors peacefully.
Yeah, I have signed I will sign the full order here.
Thank you.
It'll be in effect 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed.
I appreciate it because, like I said, she has came through my front door before, and it's just, not a safe feeling. What
It's
does
under the
the
same
order
terms as the
state?
temporary. I'm sorry?
So if we're neighbors, can that 10 feet thing be in effect?
That's going to be up to the managers of the apartment complex. You show them the order and they'll figure out what they're going to do about it.
Okay, and then is there any way to add to not be on my property or near my vehicle? Because I'm worried about her doing anything to my stuff or being on my property.
Yeah, she made a threat to your vehicle. She think to your vehicle?
She hasn't, but the day that she threatened me, she parked right behind my vehicle, which made me super nervous. And she, like I said, she's definitely entered my home before, pushed my front door through my front door. So I definitely want the property thing for sure.
I'll add those, but what that's going to mean is this order doesn't take effect until it's served on her once again, since I'm changing the order. So
that's okay, as long as she can get served again and it has those things in it. I'm good with that.
Okay, I've added those conditions that should not go within 10 feet of you, your residence, your vehicle, or your children.
But that is not a temporary, right? This will be the full order.
1 year from today's date.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, and it will include the vehicle and the property, but she has to be served with that so she knows her rights and what she's restricted from.
That's exactly correct.
And you did
so you want to
you did add my children on this though, right?
I'm sorry?
You did add my children to this too, right? That she can't have any contact or harm my children?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question. So,
Lacey Police to get it served.
Yes. So as soon as I receive it from the courts, I will call the Lacey Police Department and get that over to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
I plan to include the defense attorney's introduction, but there's really nothing of substance in what he says, so I'm going to skip over it. Instead, we'll move straight to the prosecution as they present their case for sentencing. This is where the key details come out and the court explains why a particular sentence is appropriate.
This is People versus Dean Jacob DeMambro. The file number is 25-14039FH. Appearances from counsel, please.
Joanna Carey for the people.
I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here on behalf of Mr. DeMambro. I apologize.
Thank you. Mr. DeMambro joins us today via Zoom from a Department of Corrections facility. Mr. DeMambro, are you able to see and hear the court this morning, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Thank you. Mr. Kevin Stempleton is also here today from the Michigan Department of Corrections, and he has prepared today's pre-sentence investigation report. We are here today for a sentencing in this case involving a conviction of 2 charges. The conviction stemmed from a jury trial that occurred back on August 26th of this year. Let me take a quick look to see if I had any notes or possible corrections. All right. I did not notice any need for correction. I'll start with Mr. Harrison while we're waiting for Ms. Carey to catch up. Mr. Harrison, any amendments, corrections, or objections to make to the content of the pre-sentence investigation report?
There are none, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Carey, how about the people? Did I give you enough time? Okay. We'll note that Mr. DeMambro is currently in jail because he had a parole violation. Is that right, Mr. Harrison?
I was unaware
Prison,
that
I mean.
he was convicted in Lake County,
Oh, okay, was that another? Yes,
July 1st.
thank you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that's correct. So that's why the pretrial credit only ran from February 20th.
Right, July 1st.
Excuse me, thank you.
Don't worry, you're about to get a very thorough review. The judge is going to go over your entire criminal record and put it on the record for everyone to see. This part of the hearing makes it clear how past actions influence the sentencing decision and highlights the seriousness of the situation.
Mr. Nate Carnes, the Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, has now joined us and replaced Ms. Carey. It's his file. I know he was running a bit late due to an auto issue on the way to the office. Mr. Carnes, did you have any amendments, corrections, or objections to make to the content of the report?
No, Your Honor.
Allocution on behalf of the people then, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. The thing that sticks out the most to me with this is that the defendant was traveling up to 85 miles an hour, driving on the wrong side of the road around blind curves while there was an infant in the car. That's very disturbing to the people. And I heard most of what Mr. Harrison said. Yes, the defendant has high guidelines because of his priors, and this isn't his first plea and elude. This is extremely dangerous behavior that the defendant was found guilty of. I would urge the court to issue a sentence towards the top of the guidelines here. I'd recommend a sentence of 90 months.
Thank you. Mr. DeMambro, you have the right to make a statement if you choose to do so. I do recognize that you pled not guilty and were convicted at a trial. Is there anything you wish to say at this time, sir?
Yeah, I'm quite confused, as I have been this whole time. And it's hard for me, Your Honor. I'm trying to take your position as well as everybody else's, and I understand that there was a verdict reached. And I'm trying to be respectful to everybody, because I understand the process and I understand what's happened, and everybody has a job to do. I totally understand that. But what bothers me, okay, if I were one of them jurors that made that decision that day, okay, I would want to know everything regarding the case. Okay, I would want to know everything. And if them jurors were aware of everything regarding this case, that verdict would not have been reached, because that officer is lying over and over. And I don't have to prove that. He's done it himself by his own testimony. And it was all hid from the jurors. And it's just hard for me to humbly sit here and, I'm so mentally exhausted, Your Honor, that I want this to be over with. but it's hard for me to just bite the bullet and it just take something when I know it's not true. And I mean, I can say that wholeheartedly. If you look at my past, my record.
The judge is going to consider everything: the way you tried to shift blame, your apparent lack of remorse, and, most notably, the more than 30 convictions you've accumulated over 40+ years. And yes, the judge is going to read each of those convictions aloud, one by one, making it very clear how your history factors into the court's decision.
And I'm not what my PSI says. I am capable of better things than this. And, you know, it's embarrassing for me to be sitting here in front of you, even though the circumstances and everything, it's, you know, embarrassing. And it bothers me tremendously because I know I was raised better than what what these PSI says, I want to live, Your Honor. I've done, I can't even tell you over 15 years, somewhere in there ever since I've been about 24, this has been my life and I can't seem to shake it. Please have mercy on the situation and understand that I'm being sincere. I'm not up here trying to pull your chain. You're a very smart man. I can tell it, and I can tell you're very, very good at what you do. Just take everything into consideration, please, Your Honor. I already have, everything in here is set for your ERD, which is 2/20, I think, of 27. And everything's already started, Please take that into consideration. That's all I have to say.
But keep in mind, she also testified against you in court, and her statements were part of the evidence used to secure your conviction. Now, it looks like you're about to face the full impact of that testimony, and the reaction is going to be intense as the consequences of your actions become very real.
Before the court this morning is a 42-year-old man who has had a long history with controlled substances for about 25, 26 years. He has mixed failures and successes at rehab over the last, in and out of rehab programs for the last 25 years. The defendant's prior criminal history is impressive in a negative way. It started out with some juvenile issues back in '96. Looks like he got probation. He was off for about a year before he picked up his first set of charges as an adult. But that one was dismissed. So then he made it a couple of years, then he picked up another case. Now in case 22 of 31, back in 2001, the defendant absconded from probation in the midst of it, had probation violations, numerous violations, and numerous warrants. In fact, he only made it about 6 months between the date of sentence and the next case that he picked up back in 2001. In fact, he had multiple convictions. It's not merely that he had probation violations, but he had probation violations that resulted in convictions. He had about only within a couple more months did he pick up number 4 of 31. I'm sorry, that one. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. That one was dismissed, so I disregard that. But he picked up number 5 of 31 while on probation. Number 6 of 31 while on probation. In fact, it's only 7 days after the one prior. It looks like he made it about 6 months before he picked up yet another violation of that same probation when he picked up 7 of 31. And then he did the same thing when he picked up 8 of 31, and that was all on probation. He made it a couple months before he picked up 9 of 31. And when I say a couple, I mean literally about 2 months and 1 week before he picked up the next one while on probation. Number 10 of 31 occurred while on probation. In fact, that occurred only 11 days after 9 of 31. doing terrible on probation. In fact, then he picked up 11 of 31. Actually, while on probation and while on bond for the other cases. 12 of 31 occurred 2 months after number 11, and he was still on probation. So, yeah, it's like the 9th case while he was on probation for number 2 of 31. Then it continues. 13 of 41. Looks like he had just been off of probation, but only for about a month. 5 months. 14 of 21 came only about a month after 13. Then he made it about 2 weeks before he picked up 15 of 31. Then a number 16, he was on bond, violated bond, picked up another case. Number 7 of 31, he was still on bond for number 15 of 31. So we're starting to see that he's violating bond. I don't know if he's ever completed probation successfully, but multiple probation violations. 18 of 31 occurred while on bond. 19 of 31 occurred while still on bond, and it was only a month after 18 of 31. 20 of 31 occurred while he was on parole. Then it looks like he had a sentence. Looks like he 2 months later after being sentenced. I don't know, this must have occurred. All right, so you got 16 days in jail. And then after he got off of that, he had another violation. 21 and 22 occurred while on parole. 23 occurred while on parole. Between 23 and 24, he did make it about 3 years, but sure enough, we're getting back to failing. This is a flee and elude. So I've got repeated flee and eludes, R&Os, failing to comply with bond, failing to comply with probation, failing to comply with parole. So for number 24 of 31, which had that flee and elude and R&O and reckless driving, he out of Osceola County, he got 14 months to 2 years. So a prison stint didn't help that. Number 25 of 31, sure enough, we got another reckless driving and a flee and elude. That occurred while on bond. Number 26 of 31, we have another R&O, and that's only about, looks like 9 months after being off of probation or parole from the previous file. 27 of 31 occurred while on parole, and that one was resolved in April 12th, 2024. He made it 7 months before picking up this case in Lake County, not Osceola County, but Lake County and Wexford County, the ones that we're here for today. Now, before I talk, what's that?
28 is the Lake County conviction, is it not?
Yeah. It's okay. Lake County. I thought you said Osceola. I thought you said Osceola earlier, so I'm sorry, but
you may have that. Yeah. Maybe why I got sidetracked.
Then, while these cases were pending, what happened to 31 of 31? Did that get dismissed?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Dismissed.
All right, so I'll disregard that.
The next 2 files, 30 and 31.
Now, as to the officer, Officer Killingbeck, and this is conservation officer, not the trooper Killingbeck. It's one of the first times I'd ever seen him in court, and he did a pretty good job providing testimony. But I'll say, no matter what, his testimony was supported by the person, the woman, he left in the car with a kid, and his ID was in the car. So his attempts to try to tell me today that the officer was lying, even if I consider the officer not telling the truth, which I don't, the girl was in the car with the child and his ID. And he tends to run away. He tends to abscond. He tends to flee and elude. He tends to resist arrest.
She's admitted it wasn't me.
Wow, that was something else. It's been a while since we've seen someone completely lose it during their sentencing, even before the judge announces the outcome. Considering he requested the maximum sentence, maybe this was his way of making sure he got exactly what he asked for. Either way, his reaction is dramatic and hard to ignore.
Stop talking. Do not talk again. You had your opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And we have 2 jury trials, which means 24 independent people who I cannot challenge and will not challenge have all found you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So there is no confusion for this court. You fled and eluded police officers, something that, by the way, you have a tendency to do.
Yeah.
You resisted arrest. You resisted arrest, which is something you have a tendency to do. You violated parole. Well, you violate parole almost all the time. You violate probation and bond in almost every single one of your convictions, which I think were approximately 25 convictions over the last 25 years. You're in and out of jail, on and off of probation, on and off of bond, on and off of parole, in and out of prison, constantly. And a jury conviction. So I don't think there's any part of your story that's true. And I can follow this route. Snookum Road down in Lake County, you take a left, start heading down toward Wexford County. You cross 33 Road, 48.5 Road, and this intersection.
I didn't do none of that. I didn't do none of that. Give me the max. I'm done. Give me the max. I don't care. Give me the max. I will prove to you this whole courtroom. Dean DeMambro didn't do this. And y'all know it. You're all lying. You're all in on it. Every one of you, Judge, you're full of crap. And you know it. You sat there and watched that man lie.
I would encourage the
Yeah.
court to just.
Whatever.
I-
Fuck
no, no.
yous. Eat shit. You're all pieces of shit. I don't give a
Mr.
fuck. Fuck
Harrison,
off.
Alright, everyone, that wraps up this video. He asked for the maximum sentence, and now he could end up receiving the max plus an additional 90 days. Remember what he said earlier? He turned down an offer to reduce the felony to a misdemeanor, took it to trial, and was found guilty by a jury of his peers not once, but twice. Clearly, things didn't go the way he expected. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If not, feel free to hit dislike, but make sure to leave a comment with your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates or courtroom coverage.
Appreciate you trying to help your client, I really do. But you can't help that,
He ended the call.
okay?
I.
No, it's okay, Mr. Harrison. I know what you're gonna say. You're trying your best. You can't fix that. That's okay. I'm not angry at you, Mr. Harrison. I'm not
I
upset.
understand.
You're doing your best you can. I hadn't even gotten to the sentence. I can tell you it was less than what I came in with. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. The defendant has a right to be present in the courtroom, and I don't feel comfortable sentencing the defendant without him being present. So we will adjourn sentencing. This court will issue a writ to have him physically brought to the courtroom. The court will also add to this a contempt of court charge and find it he has left. Court will hereby sentences the defendant to 90 days. That 90 days, because he's currently serving in the prison, will run consecutive to whatever sentence he is currently serving. Then we will bring him in here for sentencing. I like how I went from being a very smart, great judge to being a lying, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember whatever he
The
said.
irony notwithstanding, I think it's pretty clear that there might be a mental health issue there as well.
I don't know if I can count stupidity as mental health. We are adjourned.